This episode of Nostalgia Pride Podcast will involve a conversation about plagiarism. No names will not be mentioned. You need to protect your work and ideas you come up with. Never take credit for ideas that are not yours. Welcome back to another episode of Nostalgia Pride Podcast. I'm your host, AlisonClarke, and as always, I'm excited that you guys are here with me today. Now, today's episode is one that I have I have been waiting to do for a long time. He is a lyricist, a head writer, and writer for so many Nick Jr. shows, such as the Wonder Pets, Blues Clues, Backyardigans, and so much more. Everyone, welcome. Please help me welcome Adam Peltzman. Yes. So how you doing, Adam?
Well, thank you for that nice intro. I'm doing pretty well today. How are you?
Doing good, and of course, welcome to Nostalgia Pride Podcast.
I'm so happy to be here. I'm very
Yes.
honored that you asked me.
And of course, shout out to Billy Ironson, who helped me get you on the show.
I know Billy said he really enjoyed talking to you, so it was nice to hear from him about that.
Even though since I wanted to get him on today's episode too, but he couldn't make it.
Oh, I know. It would have been fun to talk with Billy, but we'll talk. We'll talk about all kinds of things.
Yeah. I mean, both you and him together can come on my show anytime.
Appreciate it. Okay, cool.
Sure. Yeah, so to kick things off, where are you from, and what was your background like?
Well, I was born in New York City, but didn't grow up in New York City. I grew up in Massachusetts, but then in my kind of adult years came back to the New York City area. I currently live in New Jersey, but spent a lot of time in Brooklyn, New York. Yeah, I grew up in Massachusetts, a town called Westboro, and kind of an ordinary suburban childhood. Definitely, it's probably where I discovered liking kids' TV and being really connected to it. Watched a lot of TV as a kid, as I'm sure you did. And yeah, as I got a little older, I got into creative stuff like writing and acting and working on plays a lot in high school and improv comedy in college. So and I was always been a little interested in teaching and education. So, kids' TV was kind of a nice combination of those things.
So cool. So when did you first started to become a lyricist?
Oh, it's interesting that you mentioned lyricist first because I don't really think of myself as a lyricist, but you're right that I have written lyrics for a lot for the Backyardigans because that was a show that there was obviously a lot of music and it was one where they relied on the script writers often to write the lyrics for the songs. Sometimes you'll work on a show and you might be the script writer and you might not write the lyrics. There's oftentimes a composer will come in with a great ability to write lyrics. So you collaborate with a composer. So I really enjoy it. I like writing rhymes and thinking lyrically, but I don't think of myself primarily as a lyricist. But I appreciate you pointing out that part of my work because it is a lot of fun to do it.
Yeah, because you wrote, because you wrote like I think like 6 or 7 episodes for the Backyardigans.
Oh, many more than that, actually. I don't know how many exactly, but I was head writer for a few seasons and I wrote a bunch. Yeah. So really got to work very closely with the great creator, Janice Burgess, and the music team there, Evan Lurie and Doug Wieselman. And yeah, so it was an honor to get to work on so many of those episodes.
Yeah, and you know that it's funny that you mentioned Douglas Weaselman, yeah, because you know since I actually had him on my show.
Oh, Doug's great. I saw Doug. There was a very nice memorial a few months back for Janice, who passed about a year and a half ago, and so we got to connect with like the old Backyardigans family, and I saw Doug there for the first time in a while. He's so talented and such a sweet guy. So yeah.
I really miss Janice Burgess, yeah, because you know since I talk about her a lot on this show.
I'll bet. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
she made a huge mark, and we're all indebted to her for sure.
Yeah, so speaking of Janice Burgess, like what are some of your favorite memories of working with her and what was she like?
She was great. I mean, people say people are one of a kind, and it's just so true about Janice. I mean, Janice was just a natural leader. She didn't have to try too hard to kind of gain people's respect. I think she had a strong point of view. She kind of knew what she wanted her show to be. So she didn't have to push very hard. She just kind of said, this is what it is. But she also left a lot of room for collaborators and she loved getting great ideas and great contributions from the people around her. But you knew where you stood with her on an idea. You knew if she liked it or not. And she was just very, very clear that way. And she loved to laugh and loved to kind of create a real, just a collaborative, fun environment. So kind of felt like a family a little bit working on that show. It just people just like to be there, and she set such a great tone. And she was funny and she was incredibly smart and kind of loved she really loved movies and like action movies and like there were things that she loved that she really brought into the Backyardigans. And she loved music and it was just a very cool experience.
Yeah, and yeah, because when I got the news that yeah, because anybody who knows me will tell you that I am a massive Backyardigans fan.
Sure, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, because my love for that show started when I was 7 years old, and then it
Mhm.
ended, and then it ended when I was 13.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. I mean, back when we were making it, certainly had a lot of friends with kids and it just came up a lot, it meant a lot to a lot of people. And that's, when you do this kind of work, like sometimes you forget or sometimes you need to be reminded just like the impact that these shows have on real kids and real families and it's really nice to hear.
Yeah, because you know that if they had cast me as the singing voice of Uniqua in the Backyardigans, I know for sure that I would have brought Dubway Studios absolute joy.
Oh my gosh. What were we thinking? Well, I had nothing to do with it. I'm sure you would have been great.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, because if my singing voice was to run through ran through the entire show, I literally would have considered everybody family.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, absolutely. Well, that's a cool thing about a show like that too. It might cause kids to dream a little bit about performing or being part of it, and that's really nice. Yeah.
You know, yeah, since I originally was going to be Uniqua in an idea that I came up with
Hmm.
for for a really big collaboration, but unfortunately my idea got plagiarized and then I ended up getting replaced.
Oh, what do you mean by that?
Uh, yeah. So on this show, yeah, since I never call people out, because it's not part of my intentions. It's not my intentions, but but unfortunately, someone has now plagiarized my idea and is taking credit for it, and now claims my idea as their own.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
comfortable. Yeah.
Yeah, because plagiarism is a very serious offense. It's a really serious issue that can lead to really serious consequences.
Yeah. Well, while I don't know the specifics of what you're talking about, I would imagine if you felt your idea got taken, it would that would be uncomfortable. Yeah. So I hear that.
Yeah, Yeah, because plagiarism means taking credit for for an idea that is not yours.
I know. Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
and
Sure. Yeah.
yeah, and also that plagiarism can spread, yeah, because it's been talked about for centuries.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, because it's been in the dictionary since 1601.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So you've done your research here. Yeah.
Yeah, and yes, that's why it's important to not let plagiarism spread. Yeah, because two things that don't mix well is constantly replacing people in content creation and the word plagiarism. Because when those two things get involved, those two things will definitely create a negative and toxic environment.
I could see that. I could.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Yeah, and yeah, and not just in not just with doing collaborations, even though you have to be very careful on who you collaborate with, and yeah, because when you come up with ideas that are yours, you need to protect them, and you also have to monitorize your work.
Right. Right. No, that's very smart. That's very smart.
Yeah, and also when yeah, and then when yeah, and then as soon as my mom found out that I got replaced, and then my idea got plagiarized, my mom got very, very upset.
Mm.
Yeah, because anybody who knows me, they'll tell you that I know all the lines to the Backyardigans, because since I'm a super fan,
Yeah.
yeah, and how much it means so much to me, and yeah, because plagiarism can cause so much frustration and also emotional distress.
I would imagine so. Yeah, I would
Yeah,
imagine so. So yeah, I'm sorry to hear that you experienced those things. Yeah.
yeah, because that was the first and only time that I ever experienced anything like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you have the ability to talk about it and have some support around that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, since I've had a lot of great support, since I have my mom, and that I have my boyfriend.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Good. Good.
yeah, because I know that Janice would definitely want me to be strong. I mean, she would want me,
Hmm.
yeah, because she would want me to push for what's right and to call out for what's wrong.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, because whenever you come up with an idea that's yours, there's so much there's so much in this type of business that you need to be cautious of. I mean, you got to be really careful with who you work with.
Yeah, I mean, it's creative ideas. You have to be aware, right, about who you're sharing your ideas with. I think that's a good lesson. Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, not just with doing creative stuff. I mean, it 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 also goes for business. It also
Yeah,
yeah, but also in things like academics and stuff like that. Yeah. So plagiarism is all around, and that's why it's important to not let it continue.
yeah. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I agree with that fully. Yeah. I don't know. So anything else about Backyardigans or other kids TV topics of interest?
Sure. Yeah, so yeah, so would it be okay if I tell you one of my favorite episodes that you wrote?
Sure. Yeah.
My all-time favorite was Tale of the Mighty Knights.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's fun.
yeah, because my favorite song from that episode, and it's still stuck in my head to this day, Not an Egg Anymore, which was sung by Broadway and film star Adam Pascal.
I know. It was a big deal. Yeah. And so yeah, that was a two-part episode. And we also, I don't know if you're aware of it at the time, but we made it into a stage show, so as a traveling
Right.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Would it be okay if I sing some of the lyrics for you?
Sing away. Go for it.
Okay. I feel so free that I can soar. I'm not an egg anymore. He's not an egg any. I'm not an egg anymore.
Yeah, you brought it all back. I haven't seen that episode or heard it in a while, but you kind of brought it all back to me. That's very cool.
And yeah, and of course, the sequel episode was, of course, the tale of the not so nice dragon.
Yes, I remember that one. There was something about mini muffins in that one, I think. Yeah.
Right. But the song that got stuck in my head from that episode was the one where they're stuck in the cave. Oh, we're stuck in a cave. We're trapped in a cave. We're so bored that we napped in a cave. We need to be saved by somebody brave because we're stuck. Yeah, we're stuck in a cave.
That sounds right. Yeah, I got now that one. It's been even longer since I've seen. So you're bringing me way back. Talk about nostalgia. You're bringing me down memory lane here, and with your great singing. So thank you for that.
Yeah, and yeah, because since I love Backyardigans, I could talk about Backyardigans all day. But yeah, but another one of my favorite shows that actually I think started off my love of Nick Jr. was Blue's Clues. So how did you get
Yes.
involved with? Yeah, because I know Janice Burgess was involved with that as well. She was like,
Yeah.
some sort of the vice president or one of the executive producers for that show.
Yeah. So I'm not. She worked at Nick Jr. and I think her title was exec in charge of production. Maybe it was a different. Maybe she had a vice president title as well. But yeah. So like she worked at the network and sort of supervised the show from the Nickelodeon point of view. So I got to know Janice a little bit through working on Blue's Clues. But yeah, I was very lucky to get an opportunity to be kind of a writing assistant on Blue's Clues early on, and it was it was a growing show, so I got a chance to start suggesting ideas, and they let me write some scripts, so it all kind of unfolded from there. But yeah, amazing experience working for that show. The creators were wonderful. The whole team was great. It was very collaborative. Everybody was kind of learning how to do it on the fly in a really fun way. And yeah, it was very special. And to see the impact that it's had and continue to have, it's, very fortunate to have been a part of something like that for sure. Yeah.
And also, speaking of Blue's Clues, I know that you did the voice of Green Puppy for Blue's big musical.
Yeah, I think I guess that character was in Blue's musical, but yeah, I remember there was an episode, the Blues Sad Day, where the puppy was on for the first time, and that came up really just like doing the voice in a meeting, and then Angela, who was head of the show, said, "Hey, you could be the voice." I said, "Great." So yeah, it was fun to do that for the handful of episodes that Green Puppy was in, and a lot of fun. Yeah.
And yeah, so do you do you like have a favorite episode that you were involved with?
Wow. I don't know. I liked so many of them.
Yeah, because I know that your name popped up in I think one of the VHS tapes. I think it was Blue's Big Pajama Party.
Oh yeah, that was fun. Yeah, that was
Yeah, I
one.
remember that one. Yeah, I
Yeah,
VHS.
they made that like a sleepover, like it was a primetime episode. So it was like get in your pajamas, watch Blue's Clues, that type of thing. That was a lot of fun. Um, there was there was one called Cafe Blue, which was really fun, where they kind of opened up a little restaurant. There are a lot. I mean, a lot of them, and they were all fun. I mean, yeah, it's just none of them really stand out above the. Oh, there was one with a sock puppet. It was like, "What's so funny?" And it was all about what makes
Yeah,
you
I
laugh. That
remember
was fun.
that one.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
fun. Steve was very funny in that one, and yeah, there's one where we introduced Periwinkle. There was, there was a bunch, and they were all fun to do.
yeah, and yeah, and also you wrote I think like 6 episodes of Wonder Pets too. Can you talk a little bit about
Yeah.
how did you get involved with that?
Well, there's another Nick Jr. show, so I think it probably just came. around the time of Backyardigans and these other shows, and so you just know people involved. And it was based out of New York, which is where I was living. And I knew some of the people involved with the show, and yeah, that was really fun. They were, obviously write these stories about these animals saving the day, and one thing that was fun about that show that was different was they asked us to record the episode after we wrote it, just so that they could hear how we heard the music. So since it was written like an opera, they wanted to know how did we hear those musical lines, so that you'd have to kind of speak into a recorder and sing it out a little bit, which is unusual, not usually asked to do that when you're writing a show. So that was kind of a fun touch. And yeah, another very, very nice one, and great team. And yeah, great, super cute show.
Yeah, and also you also wrote, I think, like 2 episodes for Lazy Town. I think one of them was I think was either the Sleepless in Lazy Town episode, I think.
Yeah. Now, if you quizzed me on what happened in that episode, I would not pass the quiz. I don't remember, but it was a long time ago. But I do remember the experience of working on Lazy Town, and going out to Iceland, and really neat to kind of go there and see see what Iceland was like, and kind of see their production process. And actually, I do remember one thing from that episode. I think it was Sporticus's bedtime was 8:08. Because every time it's 8:08, I think about that. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Anyway, well, Sporticus is getting to bed. Maybe I should too. But yeah. So you're right. You're right. Now it's all coming back to me. See, you're bringing all the memories back, Allison. It's amazing.
Yeah, well, they don't call me the Queen of Nostalgia for nothing, because I know my Nick Jr.
Apparently, there's a reason for the nickname. Yes.
Because people will tell you that I know my Nick Jr.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, you do. You know it better than I do.
Exactly. And yes, also you were also involved with the Blues Clues reboot of Blues Clues and You.
Not really. I think
Oh.
if you saw my name connected to that, it might just be because they kind of updated some of the old episodes. So my name might have been in there for some of the episodes they updated. I was busy when that rebooted, but obviously a big fan and supporter of it. But yeah, I didn't actually work on that one.
And speaking of speaking of Backyardigans, that I've actually got the chance to meet like 3 of the cast members, and I had 2 of them on my show.
That's amazing. That's
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
Corin Tuggles and Chris Grant Jr.
Oh my gosh. Great. That's
Yeah.
wonderful. I'm sure they're all grown up.
Yeah, they are. And yeah, and hopefully, since me and Corin are trying to get together to have everyone together for a big Backyardigans reunion.
Oh, hey, that's something in the air about Backyardigans reunions. Very good.
Yeah. So yes, hopefully when it comes out, yes, I'll definitely email it to you. So yes, so that way you could see me literally blowing everybody's minds with with the trivia.
I bet. Yeah, you'll know more than anybody else.
Yeah, because growing up, the Backyardigans meant so much to me. Yeah, because what started off my love for the Backyardigans was Nick Jr. on CBS.
Yeah, that's right. There was a time it was on CBS. You're right. It was short-lived, but it was for maybe a year or two, or maybe it was on CBS. Yeah, that was cool.
So Nick Jr. on CBS premiered in September of 2000 to September of 2006.
So yeah, more than I realized.
Yeah, so it premiered when I was 3, and then since I started forming a memory when I was 4, so so I watched it all the way through the entire time that it was on.
Very cool. Okay, see, I'm learning so much, Allison. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and since I was fortunate enough to meet Janice Burgess's family, I never got to meet Janice though, but I keep in touch with her family.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah, but from what I heard, Janice's family is very, very private.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah, but total respect for that. Yeah, and yeah, since I miss Janice as much as the rest of her family does.
Yeah. Yeah. We all do. Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
but we'll definitely see her again. In the new world.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah, because since I have faith in the resurrection.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, so what's next? I mean, what are you doing these days?
Oh, continuing to write and develop new projects and nothing that we'll see on TV anytime soon, but because things take a while, but just yeah, always writing, always trying to cook up the next thing. So yeah, I just feel lucky to get to do this kind of work, keep doing it. So yeah,
Cool. Man, man, Adam, this was just so much fun.
I agree. I agree, Allison. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and of course, thank you for helping me address plagiarism because it's a very serious matter, and there really needs to be protections put in place when you come up with ideas.
Yeah, I'm glad we had a chance to talk about that. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, because it's really important to not let this continue.
Okay. All right. Yeah, it's good to bring awareness. So, oh, yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Allison.
Yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching Nostalgia Pride Podcast. And remember that memories of nostalgia will help you build your nostalgia pride. We'll see you real soon.